Hi everybody, and welcome back to StorytellerSpira's channel. Tonight we will be playing Hunter the Reckoning, the game, and our game is The Land Between. This is episode 7, so quick little recap. So far our hunters, the imbued humans with special powers used to find, hunt, and judge monsters and demons and vampires and all kinds of other creepy crawly ghoulies, have gathered in Dover, Tennessee, just south of the Land Between the Lakes National Park between Kentucky and Tennessee. They had a mix of reports of children missing. Some children were reported as recently passing with strange circumstances, strange things happening to the animals in the park, all kinds of hoodoo going on. As they've continued their investigation, so far they have uncovered that the mayor's daughter either has been replaced by something demonic or is being possessed by something infernal. There are also, or were, 3 creatures in the nearby forests that the hunters are considering fey creatures, something like that. Last week, our intrepid adventurers did actually take one of them down, the one known as Ember, who seemed to have been a creature of fire, a fire fae. And as they continue their investigations, they are trying to find out exactly what these fae and this young demon woman are doing in the city, who they have their grips in, as Sean's character, the visionary, saw some signs and portents saying that some of the people of the city are being swayed by her, and what they want with the children of the city, as some of them have gone missing already. And in Brother's case, he saw similar signs around his young daughter's house that looked like they were kind of stalking her or sizing her up. So real quick, we'll just do our usual meet and greet with our players. Revolver C as Albert Reese, better known as Brother. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, my dudes, I'm Revolver Sam playing as Albert Reese's brother. I am a college professor at oh my god, UC Berkeley, there we go, as a biology professor. I went to Tennessee to investigate some strange reports in the Dover area because I have personal ties there. My daughter is living with my in-laws, so I want to make sure that she's all good and safe, as well as bring down whatever supernatural happenings is happening in Dover area.
All right, next we'll have Koznark as Father Peter Lilly.
I'm Father Peter Lilly. I was sent by the Vatican over to this area because there was some reports of devil activity and some sorts of nonsense with burning churches and things, or with the townsfolk and missing children that had a supernatural ring to it. So I was sent to investigate, and here we are.
Next we'll have Super Chocolate Bear as Chad Waterlily.
How's it going? I play, as she said, Chad Waterlily. Recently, since we actually finally came in kind of a violent contact with one of our Fey enemies, Chad's been dealing with some moral dilemmas of what is considered a monster and what is not. But he's trying to handle that right now as we proceed to go for the little demon girl.
And last but not least, we have Modi Ansis as Sean Malcolm.
Hi, I play Sean Malcolm, who is a former white hat cybersecurity professional who accidentally hacked the wrong thing and saw the wrong things, which awoken him to the supernatural, and he's been on the hunt ever since. Got off the grid and ended up in Dover, Tennessee, where he's been noticing the missing children and other things like that, and so put a bulletin out on the hunter.net for to pull in some additional assistance in investigating the area.
All right. So, as I mentioned, our intrepid adventurers had dealt with one of the Fae, whether some of them feel okay with it or not, it happened. One of the Fae is now dead. And after gathering themselves back up and discussing what they needed to do, they returned to their respective hotels, motels, or car to sleep, and the next morning met up at the church that Father Lily is staying at. Chad and Father Lily had a very in-depth argument about ethics and trying to, in Chad's point of view especially, understand exactly what they are, what they're meant to do, and if it's right or not to judge these creatures or not. Following that, Sean saw a vision in some stained glass windows that appeared to have Suzanne, the mayor's daughter, the one that they're all sort of very invested in right now, pull out a contract and have the people in the image bend a knee and sort of swear fealty to her. It's still very early morning, and I believe it is about Friday now in the week, and everyone decided to go get themselves a bite to eat and, let that digest along with the recent information.
Yeah, to interject here, I actually did want to do something before I met up with them at the diner.
Sure.
Like, after my daughter went to school,
Okay.
I would imagine it's like 7 that she left, or
Yeah.
8. I did want to talk to the in-laws and talk about relocating them to like maybe a hotel outside of town. And
Perfect.
then
This would even still be before they finished up at the church, so if you were waiting for her to leave by the bus and then decided to walk up to the door.
yeah, I would just kind of ring the doorbell.
Alright, you said it was her grandparents, or yeah, your in-laws, her grandparents. So after a little while you hear some heavier footsteps, definitely more of a male's walk, coming closer to the door. He opens it, and you see his gaze looking forward, ready to catch someone's eyes, and sees your chest, since you're about 7-something. It takes him by surprise, and he steps back for a second. Whoa, oh! And he looks up, seeing brother. Albert, what are you doing here?
Evening, Mark. Can we go inside to talk real quick?
Mark's gonna kind of look around outside just out of curiosity if you're with anyone else, but nods and says, of course, Albert, please come in, and to lead you inside. You can hear his wife, in the kitchen moving around, just, cleaning some things up. Please, have a seat.
Yeah, and I'll, if she kind of makes eye contact, I'll be like, Tracy, and go to the living room area and just sit down on the sofa.
Lissa already left for school if you were here to see her.
No, I was actually here to talk to you.
Alright, and he's gonna, get himself into his comfy, recliner chair and just lean back.
Yeah, and I'll kind of look at like family photos, see if there was any like new ones recently, and I'll look him in the eye and say, Mark, I know we haven't seen eye to eye a lot of times, and I know you're still distraught about your daughter passing away, but I come here of importance, and I want to make sure that you and Alyssa are safe.
He straightens up when you mention his daughter, puts his elbows on his knees, looks down at the carpet and sighs a little bit. Of course, Alyssa's one of ours, one of our own. That's the way Tracy and I see it. We'd do anything for her. And since you were looking around, yeah, you would see like a couple pictures up on the mantle, things like from school, or like a picture of her and some like local kids that look like probably her friends.
Yeah, and I'd definitely take a mental note and say, listen, I think it's be pretty wise if you and Tracy just took a vacation outside of town for a bit.
Mark's gonna furrow his eyebrows. What's this about, Albert?
And I'll give a heavy sigh and say, listen, I know you don't believe in it, and I know I may sound like a raving madman at times, but there's something wrong in this city, or this town. And I'm here to stop it, but I can't stop it if I'm constantly worrying about you two and Alyssa and their safety.
His expression like keeps kind of just scrunching up with like confusion and just trying to understand exactly what you're saying. He leans in a little closer to you and talks more quietly so Tracy won't necessarily hear. And you talking about some sort of business? What's going on, Albert?
If I had told you, you wouldn't believe me, Mark, but seems the mayor's, well, and I'll catch myself after I say mayor and say, there's a girl that she seems to be possessed by something, and there seems to be some lycanthrope or werewolves, if you have, in the woods, seeming to target children around Alyssa's age, so you can see my concern. Now, I think you, Tracy, and Alyssa should take a vacation anywhere but here. Maybe go to, like, the city, or if you have friends to stay with outside a cabin, that'd be wise.
Mark leans back in his chair again and like kind of rubs like his balding head, just taking all that in. And well, I would have sooner thought you were crazy coming up with all this and showing up out of the blue, but I do know there's been some odd reports over the last few months. Kids going missing. Police seem to have no trace of it, and no one knows what's going on. You're saying someone's and again he like really quiets his voice suddenly. Someone's nabbing kids around here?
Something like that, yeah.
He shakes his head and sighs very heavily. Just, Albert, I'll consider your word on it. We got some family just outside Dover. My only concern is it's still the school year. Alyssa has a few more weeks at least.
Well, I can pick her up. I'm sure you can give the teachers a call and say that it's a family emergency or something. Maybe they can send her homework through email, things like that.
Yeah, I'll look into it, Albert. And you'll hear from the kitchen Tracy sort of bark back towards where Mark and you are sitting is, Mark, honey, did you move the meat? No, honey, it should be in the fridge. I don't see it. Did you put it in the freezer? He's gonna sigh. I'll look for it in a minute.
Well, I'll kind of laugh at that and stand up and say, well, Mark, please strongly consider my request. I'll pick up Alyssa and tell her the situation happening, and I'll drop her off here for you two to go on over to your friend's place. And just a friendly advice, you'll find the meat maybe inside Alyssa's room.
He was about to put out his hand to like shake yours, all amenable to the situations, but his hand pauses halfway towards reaching out to you. What do you mean?
Let's just say I paid a visit last night, and you'll find the meat near the windowsill of her bedroom.
Albert, what is that? Why would you put meat in her bedroom?
Werewolves, Mark. Werewolves.
Mark just rubs his eyes and offers you his hand again. And if you go ahead and shake it, he's gonna like almost kind of with your arm like start leading you toward the door.
Yeah, and I'll follow. And I'll just say bye, Tracy, and yell at her.
Yeah, I'll see you later, Al. And you hear her still like kind of scuffling around in the kitchen looking for stuff. As you leave, you're gonna hear Mark closing the door and a little under his breath, "Played it, freak."
That's fine. Yeah, and then I'll go to that diner we were talking about. Or that we always meet up at, rather.
Yes. Alright, so Father Lily, Chad, and Sean, you are at the church all together. And Sean, I believe, texted Brother about the meetup, but timing would have been about when Brother was wrapping up with Mark in their little conversation. And so yeah, you guys would be all heading there. Brother would probably just be a little bit behind getting there at the same time.
Awesome. So we all go into the diner, sit down, and do our usual ordering of far too much food in Sean's eyes. And after an eternity of waiting for the waitress,
As is tradition.
as is tradition.
At this point, the old lady just sees you three walk in and starts scuttling over his, I don't know where she is, but I'll just take your order.
I swear that waitress is Satan.
It's been Christine the whole time.
There we
Yeah,
go.
I'll order my usual. Yeah, steak and eggs. Rare.
Chicken fried steak and gravy.
Toast, bacon, tomato, usual.
The meal of a serial killer is what you're saying.
It,
I'd be worried about someone who ate that every day.
it's a perfectly normal breakfast. What's wrong with you people?
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Is it open face or do you actually like close it?
No, not like all. You've never had grilled tomato for breakfast?
No.
It's like a side. You get like bacon and toast, and oh my god, it's a thing.
Sure it
Sure
is.
it is.
Okay, Satan. Anyway,
So how was your boys' night at the church?
It was a interesting. Who wants to explain it for brother?
Ember's gone now. We did our best to reconcile, helping him or not helping him. Some of us consciences may have gotten the better of us for a small amount of time, but he proved to be not very amenable to working with us or not hurting people in general. So we thought it best to put him down, and that's what we did.
Oh, I was there.
Oh,
I meant like because you guys all slept at the church.
Oh, at my church.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he was there with us during the fight.
That's right. Yeah. Sorry.
Forgot you showed up at towards the end there.
Yeah. It's been a minute. It's a church. There's nothing to do there except pray. I don't think anything happened funny, did it? Spare overnight?
No, you just discussed the end result of Ember dying and went your separate ways. It was actually, everyone was exhausted, so you guys wanted to just have a breather. The discussion happened the next morning when Chad and Sean met you at the church.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the vision.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the vision was this morning. I'm all scrambled, my bad.
So the only thing of note since we parted ways last night was the messenger sent me another message this morning. There was some of the stained glass art in the church turned into the mayor's daughter, Susan, issuing contracts to people kneeling before her. And she gave me a very strong demonic something vibe, so I think the messengers are trying to confirm our suspicions there.
I'll definitely take that information in and contemplate and say, you think we're dealing with the devil of the crossroads here kind of deal?
It's from the vision I was given, it's not out of the question.
So we should try to figure out if any of these people did make a pact with Suzanne, or this thing that's in Suzanne. We should probably stop identifying as her as Suzanne and see it. The more we humanize it, the more we're going to have more moral issues like we did back at the church.
Gonna glance over at brother. Brother, Chad.
Chad's kind of just like staring at a wall and down at the table. You can see that he's probably just exhausted from this whole situation.
Yeah, brother, I think morals is a linchpin issue in our group.
Well, we're not ethic professors, and we're not here to discuss ethics. We're here to eliminate the supernatural threat and whatever is plaguing this town to make sure that none of this happens again.
Not sure everyone here agrees.
Agree or not, once all this ordeal's done, we go our separate ways. We don't have to see each other again, so.
It's a small community. I wouldn't be that hasty, but yes.
Well, I meant after the job is done, we go and are separate.
No, I meant like it's Hunters is a small community. Tend to run into each other. Well, I have been adamant that flaming horns on a human being is pretty solid evidence for me as a devil or demon of some variety. Although Sean seems to think that I'm just a crazed priest who has no reason to think that, even though he won't take my vision as proof. But I am almost certain now with the message from the messengers that that is exactly what we're dealing with. And you've seen it, or did you actually mention that you saw that something was up with the sheriff, brother?
Yeah, I would have told you guys because I think we did discuss it. And I said, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I after I met the girl, I could tell that that same touch had touched the sheriff and the mayor. I'm not sure how many other people in the city, but at least the two of them. It's not like we can interview everybody and see who all has been touched, but it's clear that it's spreading its influence, or at the very least marking people, if not doing outright contracts yet.
For sure, you guys have seen, specifically Brother and Father Lily, you have seen that the sergeant and Trevor from that convenience
Hobby
store.
Lobby, yeah.
Yeah, from the the fishing and Hobby Lobby. They have definitely been touched. And Father Lily, I believe you saw something a bit strange marked on the mayor herself.
Did we ever talk to the coroner about the adjustments he made on the reports of those children we found?
I haven't gotten around to it yet. Yeah, trying to lay low-ish. I think it's clear that we're looking into something, and as much as I find Sean to be a little too apprehensive, I think he has a point. We do want to be careful not to raise too much suspicion about what we're doing here.
Yeah, I'll kind of huff at that comment, but ultimately just nod my head.
So we all agree that Susan, whatever's in her, is our next focus here. So what are we thinking? What's our next course of action?
Well, you're still having that meetup with her, right?
I need to settle down a time, but yes, I've open-ended rescheduled with her.
Well, how about we do some research on the possibilities of what it might be, and then we could set up some sort of ambush.
I do wonder if Ember's disappearance is going to cause any... Do we know who was called Ember? Or are we just using it as a placeholder?
No, he told you his name is Ember, and you guys would know it's Ember and Ash and Talon. You've heard enough times.
Okay. With Ember's demise and that church still standing, we may have thrown a wrench in some sort of plan. So I wouldn't be surprised if she was a little on alert now.
You have a point.
Perhaps we could see if there's. I'm certain that if not in on it, the mayor is definitely connected to this. I mean, it's her daughter. Whether she willingly knows there's a devil in the house or if she's blinded by, well, her caring as a mother, which I can't blame. Uh, I just think maybe if we monitor her and see if there's a difference in her actions, that could tell us something.
Well, I did gather from the ranger, um, Markinson. I forget his name.
Malkinson.
Malkinson. I did gather from the ranger that she does frequent a bar this day, Friday. Maybe I can. She hasn't seen me yet. Maybe I can try to talk to her, see what's going. See the bigger picture here.
I think that would be smart. And then, if we want, we can check out the coroner, see if we can get anything out of him, um, or at least confirm if he's been touched by the demon or not. Because it could merely be political, trying to hide what's happened with these children in a smaller city. That's pretty scary news, or it could be supernatural. It might be good to confirm.
Yep. And I'll look over at Chad, and I'll say, "It's not too late to back out, son. You can always just go back home to California or Oregon, wherever you're from."
It's no, man. It's fine. Let's. I'm just here to learn, so let's just keep on going.
Your intention was to learn, but now we need you to act. And if I can't trust you because you're hesitant to watch my back, then we're gonna have a problem.
I wasn't hesitant. I did everything as quickly as I could. You don't have to worry about me, man.
All right, let's give him a firm nod.
Meanwhile, the old lady comes out and brings all your food, setting it in front of each of you. She looks at Sean and says, "Sure don't want anything else?"
Yeah, I'm good. Yes.
Alright, Skinny. She walks off.
I think she likes you, Sean.
I tend to have that effect on women.
Yeah, I'll just scarf my food down.
Well, normal groups, I suppose. Do you and I guess me and Sean can head off to the coroner, or do we want to switch it up? I don't think I should get near the mayor though, because she knows my face.
Yeah, that's fine. I was gonna do some research about what we might be dealing with, and then head off to the bar. Oh, and I gotta do one other thing before I go to the bar, but it'll be quick.
So I guess it makes sense for me and the father here to hit up the corner. He knows from before, and it'd be suspicious if we kept rotating people through.
Just keep your eyes peeled for any abnormalities or any, any details that may be off.
I'm sure Father Lily will have his eyes peeled for anything.
Of course.
So am I going with brother?
If you want to, son.
Yeah. I'll go with you, man. I'll help you out with your errands.
Okay.
Alright, you guys finish up your meal, pay your ticket, and all that good stuff. Father, Lily, and Sean, you guys are going together to the coroner's office?
Yep.
Correct.
Actually, I have a question.
Yeah.
Chad's hotel, I've been in there a couple times, his hotel room, Would he actually have like books and documents of the occult, or is it just kind of like scattered belongings?
Yeah, it was actually a motel room that his like mentor kind of told him to go to, and had a lot of stuff left behind. So yeah, the last couple times you've been in there, you did see a lot of shelves with a mix of new and old books, pamphlets, newspapers, all kinds of stuff.
Okay, no, just curious.
And then of course you also have the hunter net as far as trying to reach out and find more information.
Yep.
All right. So Father Lily and Sean, you are heading to the coroner's office. Father Lily, you were at least there before. I'm not sure. I think you were with Sean.
Yeah, I thought we both went the last time.
Yeah.
I was kind of just your assistant.
We just got the. Wait, when did we go to the coroner's office?
And you got the.
You were trying to get records, and
the sheriff gave me the records. He printed them out in his office, and he gave us incomplete records.
Yeah, but you did also speak to the coroner, which is a smaller office, and he just said like he wouldn't have any information for you.
Oh, that's right, because it was handled further out of the city. It was a different coroner's office.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the coroner we want to go to.
Yep.
So the one where the bodies are actually supposed to be, and the people actually did the autopsies.
Mm-hmm. So that'll be just in like the next city, like the slightly larger city next over. A little bit of a drive, but not too far. These are long, empty roads anyway, so you can drive a little faster if you want. So you guys head out to that coroner's office. Park outside. It's going to be like about afternoon now. It's, pretty quiet. Parking lot only has a couple cars there. It seems quiet on the inside.
What day of the week is it?
Friday.
All right, so guess we go in, unless there's... And I guess we're going in and you're the lead and I'm just kind of there as your assistant?
Either way.
Yeah. So this is attached to a small hospital. It's like a branch of one of the larger ones nearby.
Do we hear anyone? Is there anybody around at all? Is it just graveyard?
If you walk in, you're going to enter like the ground floor kind of reception area, and you'll see, a couple nurses behind the desk, like just doing basic paperwork, tapping on their computers. It does seem really quiet. There's like one young woman sitting in a chair nearby, just reading out of a magazine.
So when we walk in, I guess if she's the only one around, I'll go ahead and approach her. Excuse me, ma'am. Would the coroner be in by chance?
The one receptionist looks up from her desk and sees you. Oh, yeah, I'm sure he is. He's usually in, and she like checks her watch. Yeah, no, he should be in just taking care of some business. Do you need to speak to him directly? I can. What are you here for?
So I'm here with the father. And we're looking to follow up on some questions that we had about some recent events going on in the town. Yeah, and it would be critical that we spoke specifically to the coroner. If it's not too much trouble, I know that he's probably occupied and other things like that, but we would really appreciate a moment of his time.
Yeah, you know what, let me, give a call down, and you'll see her, like, pick up the phone and dial an extension. It rings for a little while, and you just hear a basic conversation saying that there's some people looking to speak with him directly, and after another minute or so, she hangs up and says, he'll be about 15 minutes, but he's saying he can run up real quick.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, it'll be, Dr. Thompson.
Thank you.
I'm assuming we brought the file with us, the medical file.
As far as I
Sean,
understand, you've had it with you most of the time?
yeah. Sean, is that the same doctor who did the? I'm gonna like point him to the paperwork. So, is that the same doctor who did the medical examination, or is this a different doctor?
Spira.
Yeah, no, those papers are actually noted as a Dr. Keller.
I'll turn back to the receptionist. Sorry to bring up another point. Not to be a bother, but do you know Dr. Keller?
She's squinting and looking a little unsure. It's not a huge hospital, so you can see her trying to figure out where she might know the name. She's gonna look over to the other nurse at the reception desk and say, "Do you know a Dr. Keller?" And she shakes her head. "Give me a second. Let me look in the database," and she'll, type a little bit on the computer here and there. I think if this is the right one, Dr. Keller is actually from in Dover. He works with the funeral home there. Looks like he came in just for a couple autopsies.
Do you have any additional information about him, about where he's typically stationed? Any specialty or thing like that, specifically why he would be brought in?
And she sleeps like she's tacking away a little bit more. Just a family practice in the town. Looks like family requested his work. Small town folks can be. Keller probably took care of them as they were growing up. I'm not sure, but yeah, he was brought in for their autopsy here.
A family physician doing autopsies? Is he qualified for that as a general doctor?
And she's gonna look the father up and down, especially with, the blindfold that he has across his face. And I'm not sure his credentials look fine. I just have it here in the report that he took care of a couple autopsies over the last couple months.
Would you happen to have a card for him, his practice?
I can print out the family practice information connected with his name.
Oh yeah, sure, that would be great.
Yeah, just give me a second. She, goes ahead and prints that out. Takes a couple minutes, but you're coming out of the printer. Anything else I can do for you two?
Oh, we'll just wait to speak to the doctor. I really appreciate your help today.
Sure, just 1 second. She'll get out of her chair and after another minute or so, return the papers that she kind of automatically starts to hand towards Sean.
Thank you. And I'll take the papers and put them away in the folder.
Of course. So the nurses go back to their usual, and after another maybe 10 minutes sitting in the waiting room, the woman that was sitting across from you, she gets up and you see her go outside and get on a cell phone. Otherwise, it's pretty quiet, just sort of a ticking of a nearby clock. You can hear a very small whisper of a radio behind the desk for the girls. And after a while, you see a man come out from some doors off to the side. Looks like he just changed into some really fresh scrubs. And he walks out into the waiting area, sees the two of you and nobody else, and just immediately walks up toward you. I told I was wanted for some reason, and he puts out a hand immediately to shake yours.
I'll stand up and return his handshake. Hi, I appreciate you meeting with us. My name is Sean Malcolm, and this is my associate, Father Lily, and I'll kind of guide him to Father's hand to shake. We were looking into some recent events in the city, and we were looking to see if we could get some additional information. Is there somewhere less public we can step back into and just have a quick conversation?
And as you said your names, he would have said Dr. Thomas, Gregory. Are you with the police?
Oh, no, my apologies. We're working on an independent sort of look into some things that are going on. I don't know if you'd heard there was a church burning in the area, and
Over in Dover, right?
yeah, and we're just kind of worried that there may be some sort of childish nonsense cult, something going on in that kind of way, and we've got a bit of experience with that, so we're trying to help out, and as well as obviously offering counsel to the families of the missing dead children in the area. So this is more of an outreach program, but we have been working with the police. Anything we find, obviously, any information that we get. But we just had a couple questions about a document that I was giving, and I was wondering if we could get your expertise. It's been a long time since I studied medicine, way back. I'm gonna smile because I'm young, so that seems silly to this doctor.
Yeah, the guy's kind of later middle age, definitely late 40s, maybe early 50s. He's got like a decent amount of like kind of gray coming into a short beard and along the side of his temples. So you're private investigators?
Nothing of the sort.
Well, and he's gonna sort of like wring his hands together a little bit. I can spare a few more minutes. I can perhaps look over. You said you had some paperwork related to the what was it again?
It was actually the autopsies of the two children that were found dead, and it's like I said, it's been a while. I did do a bit of medicine in school, but unfortunately, medicine didn't work out for me at all. But these documents looked a little weird, and the parents had some questions about some missing information. I was just wondering if you could let us know if this is normal or how this could have occurred. And I'm gonna sort of like motion to Shaw until I give him the report.
I'll do it.
We've been getting a bit of a runaround between who did these and where they came from. We were pointed in this direction, and now your secretary says that we should be going to a private practice. I didn't know it was common to have private practices perform autopsies on criminal cases, but it's small town, I guess. I'm not used to it.
Yeah, so come with me, and I'll take the folders out of your hand, and he'll already, like, open and start looking at them as he's walking, but he's gonna lead you down the nearby hallway and take a right into a door that leads into sort of a small sitting area. It looks more like it's for the nurses and the doctors. It's got, like, a couple small tables, a couch, and a little, like, counter for making coffee, and he points at one of the tables. Please, have a seat. And he's gonna be still standing, but he heads toward the table and starts looking over the reports. After, like, flipping the 1 or 2 pages that is in each, he says, is this all that there is?
Yes, as far as I know, that's the entirety of the report, and that was our reaction as well.
And he sees the name at the top. You, like, see his, like, finger, like, kind of going across the information. Yes, right. Dr. Keller. He, I don't know him very well, but yes, he's from Dover. I believe he used to work here at the hospital, a surgeon, and he retired to Dover just to practice family medicine. Semi-retired, as it were. So, as far as I can understand it, was the family requested him come here to the hospital to perform the autopsies. I only know that he was in my coroner in the morgue. I don't really know all that much, but I've spoken with him before. I can reach out if there is something specific you're looking for in the cases.
Do you not think it's slightly odd that there's so much information missing from these documents that are generally pertinent to autopsies, and even more importantly, to missing children who are either presumed death by natural causes, which it doesn't seem like anything here tried to verify the cause of death. It just seems odd.
No, and he's going to nod at what you were saying. Is definitely is very light, and he even, like, kind of weighs it in his hand for a report. All I can think of, you said it was a criminal's case. I'm sure the police kept certain paperwork if you are only private citizens looking into the case.
Understandable. We did have the parents' permissions to view the files. That's the parents' right to see the full file and know the cause of death of their own children.
Yes, well, I'm afraid that I could see if we have more information on file, but I think without proof of this permission or speaking with an officer from Dover, I can't hand anything out myself.
No, absolutely understood. It's I wouldn't ask you to push your professional boundaries. I did discern. Is there anything funny about him?
No, this guy seems clean as a whistle.
Well, your secretary gave us information to the Dr. Keller, was it?
Yes.
Dr. Keller, and we'll see if we can get in contact with him and just see what happened, or if there is information being withheld for some reason. I don't mean to point any fingers, but I do appreciate your time. Thank you very much, and no need to reach out on our behalf. I know you're a very busy man.
Of course, it's always a shame, cases like this, and again, he sort of like waves the folders to make a point of, the children deaths, but places them down on the table and taps them a couple times with his fingers. Let me know if there is anything else I can do, but as I said, I'm essentially tied up from this point. And best of luck to you. I hope you can make some headway with this.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time and talking with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Doctor.
He'll hold a hand out to walk you out to the waiting room.
And we'll follow him out.
All right. Brother and Shad, you're going on a little boyo adventure, two of you.
To the library! No. I actually would I would ask Chad, so we take a look around your place for a bit. I know you said your mentor, you didn't know the reason why he was here. Maybe we can bunker down, settle that out together, and then check the hunter net for any clues of what we might be dealing with.
Yeah. We've been so busy. I haven't even had a time to really look through any of it. It's the reason why I invited you guys all over to come check it out anyway. So, yeah, let's go do that.
What time is it? Just out of curiosity.
Since you guys are splitting up at the church, it is going to be, or at the diner, it's probably going to be about 10.
Okay, good. I still have plenty of time. All right. Yeah, since the diner's close, I guess I would just go to my car, drive over to his hotel, which would take a minute or two. And
You arrive at Chad's motel, the one he's staying at, and Chad, give me a perception alertness roll.
Oh, God.
what do your elven eyes see?
Is it my fucking neighbors? Jesus.
So,
Hold on. Don't you ruin it.
I'm not gonna.
Blammo! Look at that.
I see everything.
It's so shiny.
All right. Yeah, I'm hold on.
I was gonna say, do I get a prize?
Yeah, you get a prize, all right. You see, before you even get out of the car with brother, that the neighbors to your motel room, you see that the curtain was kind of just pushed away a little bit, like someone's been sitting at the window trying to watch, and you even notice that they immediately start typing into a cell phone before the curtain closes.
So one, which room am I? Like, there's only like what, 4 rooms? I think
Yeah,
you
there's
said.
there's like 6. So if you're in like room 104, they're in the one to your left in 103.
Got you. And how far away are we?
If you just like were pulling into the motel parking lot, very standard kind of motel, like it's just gonna have enough parking spots for mostly the like each room and maybe 1 or 2 extra. So you saw it like as you were pulling in, just like eagle-eyed.
Are both our windows up?
You tell me.
I would have the windows down.
Down? Okay. Then
I would not have the windows down.
Oh, you would not? Okay, yeah, neither would I. Then in kind of like a low, just casual kind of like not staring at the people, but like, did you see that?
No. See what?
My neighbors to the left of me, 103, they, as soon as we pulled in, man, they threw the curtain back, but I think they were texting someone.
Do you think it's a problem, or?
I don't know. Do hunters get hunted? Is this? Is there something we should worry about?
Well, hunters get hunted all the time. The matter of fact is, do you have a nosy neighbor, or do you think they're more malicious than that?
How many days has it been since I've been here, Spirit? It hasn't been that long, right?
Like not even really a full week. You guys have been here for about, I want to say 5 days, I think. Maybe 6. Like if you guys arrived around the weekend and it's Friday now, you're getting close to a full week.
And have I had the same neighbors the whole time, or do I know the innings and the outs of who's to the left of me?
I'm going to say since you were generally a cautious person and it is a small like motel, you didn't see people come in and out of that room often, but you did notice over the last like at least 3 days it did seem like the same car has been parked out there.
Gotcha. I don't know, man. Like it could be anything. It was just weird. I thought I'd bring it to your attention. Hopefully it's nothing, right? But I mean, how often am I even here? If they're trying to hunt us down, this is a piss poor place to do it.
Well, how about we go have a chat with those neighbors?
Wait,
for neighborly greetings.
Okay, yeah, you lead the way, or yeah, okay, yeah, you whatever you want, man. Let's do that.
Okay, yeah, I'll turn off my car, lock it, stomp on over to the neighbors, and
Alright, so you knock on the door of 103 and you don't really hear any response. You don't hear any movement.
I'll knock again, but louder, like.
After a little bit, you might hear some like kind of like just whispered like, and then after a moment, the door creaks open a little bit. It looks pretty dark in there, like maybe there's only a table lamp on, and you see from the bit of light that you can tell the person is like really skinny, has like kind of matted, messed up hair.
I would make sure to puff out my chest to look more intimidating and overloom them with my size and say, "Afternoon."
They open the door a little bit more, and you see it as a average age man, like 30-year-old kind of looking man. He's got, scruff. His face looks dirty. Even his like hand that's on the door, the fingernails are kind of yellowed and have dirt underneath it. He's got a really ratty old work shirt, and his hair's kind of like matted a bit to the front of his forehead. Looks like it's blonde, but it is also pretty dirty. But he's like a little hunched over, looking up at you. Yeah. What do you want?
I just wanted to say, hey, I'm your neighbor, in 104?
Yeah, all right. We're not neighbors. It's a motel, but yeah, thanks. And he starts to close the door.
I will like slam my hand, just palm to the door, and like force it a little bit open. And I'll say, listen, I can see you're busy with whatever it is you do here. And
As
I can tell that you...
As you've opened the door a little bit more, you can see a woman sitting on one of the double beds, and she similarly looks in a not so great shape, little skinny, ratted like old sweater and dingy skirt.
Okay, serious question. Does she look like a prostitute?
She looks like she doesn't eat as much as she imbibes other things.
So like druggy, like crackhead? Okay.
Yeah. She has her hair like up in a ponytail, but barely. And as you like started to open the door, the guy would even like kind of take a step back, like, "Whoa, what the fuck, man?"
Listen, friend. I realize you and your friend over there in that bed imbibe in some unique things, but if you so much as glance at my friend over there, and you so much as look at that cell phone while you do it, I'll be sure to come back and pay you a visit, and I won't be as cordial as I'm being right now.
The young man, or the 30-year-old man, just starts like rubbing at his neck. We ain't doing nothing. And the girl starts to scoot a little bit towards the bathroom, looking a little scared. No, you ain't got anything to worry about us. We're getting out of here in a day or so anyway.
Pleasure to hear that. And if there are police officers that do come by this hotel, you can be rest assured that I will find you.
Yeah, man. No, I don't want anything to do with the cops either.
Perfect. Have a nice afternoon, you two.
Yeah.
And I'll take the door handle and slam it pretty loud.
I always want to make you do a strength roll and see if you break it by accident.
Sure. I'm not that strong. I'm just a big dude.
You don't have to. It would just be funny. Alright, so yeah, you close the door. Chad was witness to all this.
Chad is just like, when your parents took you to the mall when you're a teenager?
Well, I got 3 successes.
You slam it pretty solid, but it's an okay made door, so it like shudders a bit as it closes, but it stays on its hinges.
Okay. And I'll look over down to Chad and say just a friendly introduction.
Yeah, man, that's it was something. Let's go in, please.
Yep, let's go in.
Alright, so you enter into Chad's motel room. Like I said before, it was left with a lot of the books and equipment from Chad's mentor, who told him to go down to Tennessee in the first place. There are books strewn around the small motel room, like even just like there are some like bookshelves obviously bought from the store because the hotel didn't have any. There's a couple like military like cases and stuff like that Chad had some of the weapons he gave you guys, and just other like random strips of paper and notebooks around.
Okay, yeah, I would definitely start with just a random pile and kind of try to discern but try to figure out what exactly his mentor was doing here. And I would even ask Chad the same thing, like, tell me a little bit about your mentor, as I'm kind of investigating these. And do you need me to do a roll or anything?
Yeah, I could do investigation and occult while Chad tells you about his mentor.
Wait, can I investigation occult or wits in an investigation?
Investigation. Well, because you can do wits and investigation, because you know what you're kind of looking for or what you hope to find.
Could I also just start looking through also while I tell him?
Yeah, go ahead.
Same thing.
Yeah.
There.
I got a 6.
Nice.
Or, sorry, 5. I got
Yep.
a 5.
Nothing. I'm just making a mess.
Secretly trying to find your flask, but like, yeah, I'm looking for books.
Oh shit, that's true. I've been dry for too long. Yeah, fuck books. I'm going to the corner of my cheap whiskey and refilling my stock. Man, I don't know. Mentor is probably too much of I don't know. He's more of a hero, I guess. I was in a bad place and I was in an insane asylum, and he saved me from everything. Everything wrong that ever happened in my life, he took it out in one night.
Yeah, I'll just kind of nod and pull out a cigarette, light it, smoke it as I'm investigating, and say, "So how'd you meet this fella?"
He was a hunter, and I don't know. I guess he did some jobs with some people, and he ended up seeing some stuff that just didn't sit well. I don't know. I guess PTSD. I'm assuming that's common in hunters, kind of a thing, and he decided it best to kind of make sure he was medicated and under a safe environment. And even in his safe environment, because of me coming there, a vampire came back into his life, and he did what he had been doing for years, and he killed him.
And I'll nod to that and say, "Your mentor, he's or your friend, I should say. You should always look to him for that moral compass. You know, if that Fey child was a vampire, would it be any different?"
Look, man, I know this whole moral thing isn't exactly, I don't know, maybe it's just not something that you guys have, but I shook his hand, man. Like me and you met him, and he let us go. I don't know what kind of powers these guys have. I, to be honest, don't even know to what extent they are quote unquote evil, but I saw him, 3 times? Every time cordial, let us come in, let us come out of the woods, no problem. And then we just fucking smoked him. And now I'm just supposed to be okay with that because we suspect that he did something bad underneath his own power. I mean, there's plenty of people in this town that are under control of this demon chick, supposedly. What if he was just one of them?
While you are right, the semantics, you can say what ifs and what have yous, but at the end of the day, that could have easily been you on the ground, and he could have snuffed you out. It's better to take care of the situation now, and I do realize that he did let us go multiple times. However, maybe that wasn't in his chemistry at the time, but those two did like to play games, and if they got bored of you, they will easily snuff out that light.
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of what ifs in the scenario that I don't know. And then it's just like with these powers that you and I have, or curses, if that's what Father Lily wants to call them, or whatever we have, how far off are we from him? You know, he looked like a normal kid, but then had something that he could change about himself. That I'm sure you can do that too. I know I can. So I don't know, man.
As a as a young man that's dealt with vampires before the past, they look human on the outside, but we know in the inside they are monsters. And even if we need to become those monsters to hunt monsters, that's how it has to be.
want to make sure the things we're killing are actually monsters and not just something that's just not understood, that we are just scared of because we don't understand it.
And I think you should keep that line of ethics with you, because as long as you've been when you do this as long as I have, you do forget your humanity. You do forget who you are and what, you need that one thing to keep you human. For me, it's my daughter here in Dover. Without her, I could easily become one of those monsters that you want to hunt down and kill. So always keep that compass staying true to yourself, Chad.
I know I'm trying. And as far as contacting Giorgio, he's in an insane asylum, I think, last time I checked. So talking to him about morals, or I don't know, unless you meant that like not in a literal sense.
No, I meant it in a literal sense. You always need to keep your morals and your beliefs true. If it wavers, that's when you become a monster.
All right, man. I'll remember that. And he'll take a bit of a swig out of some cheap whiskey.
Okay. So did I find anything from whatever I was looking at?
Yes, as you were digging around through the books and pamphlets and papers and printouts and everything in the room, you came across a few different documents and maybe a couple books that dealt with the infernal and concepts of possession, and some of them you were going through and you weeded out because they seemed very much more standard Catholic ideas of possession, where the possessed is seeming to be attacked and is, becoming sick and going crazy. And you realize that it's definitely not the case in this instance. It's something much more attuned with the young girl. So as you go through more and more of them, you finally come across a book that has different printed out pages and other notebook scraps throughout it with some notes that definitely covers more in-depth details of types of demons and ways that they may manifest in humans or in the human realm, and how that these sorts of demons or infernal agents may connect with humans, get deals set, make pacts, that sort of thing.
Are there any demons in particular that deal with humans in a life-threatening situation? Because I know she was in a motorcycle accident, so maybe she made that deal to survive.
Yes, some of the information you found in the book about like these deals and pacts show that there may be a connection in which a human is able to gain something akin to healing, longer life, or something for their soul, or at least it's a concept, not necessarily proven. And then in other cases are the concepts of a body being taken over shortly after death.
I was going to say, any demons in particular? Like, do they have like a name, or is it just demons in general?
Those were concepts in an earlier section of the book. As you continue, it does have a lexicon with different terms, a whole bunch of names that are taken from many different sources, mostly Judeo-Christian, and of course, like, each of them are like annotated to say like no record of this specific one, but keeping track of the names in the book. And then finally, you'll notice some stuff that seems similar almost to what you got, the information you got about the Fae, where it seems like there are some that may have greater control of one type of ability, power, element, that sort of thing. And then there's going to be notes in there that refer back to the idea of the 7 houses, the seraphim, cherubs, and so on and so forth.
All right. As I'm kind of reading this, I'll say, well, your friend may be crazy, but he had a keen eye to him. Seems he was in Dover for the same reason we are.
Yeah, I mean he wasn't crazy. He was just I don't know. He no, it's cool. What is it? What does it say? Anything important? Anything we need to know?
I'll relay back the information about the demons, what I read about, if they had any weaknesses, or what I can identify the demon, or what type of demon we may be dealing with. I'll also refer to the motorcycle accident that Suzanne had, so the possibility of her making a deal with said demon to allow her to live, or even maybe the demon just simply took over her body after death. As well as the Fae that they mention in the seven houses and cherubs and stuff.
So you just said that all to me?
Basically, I just
Yeah, just
Gotcha.
downtime, you know.
While you're saying that, he's just sitting there nodding, listening to you, taking sips. Seems like sometimes, he's making eye contact and he's listening. Sometimes he's maybe not 100% paying attention, but he's in and out of listening to it. And when you're done, he's like, all right, all right. Well, I'm glad we got something out of this.
Yeah, this Giorgio fella, he seems resourceful. Wish I could have met him.
Maybe, I don't know, someday we might repay the favor and go get him out of that mental institute, or I don't know.
Yeah, for another time. In the meantime, I think we should relay this information back to the father and Sean. Maybe they can make heads and tails of what we're dealing with.
Yeah. Let's go before those crazy neighbors get all weird.
Yeah, you might want to take any, guns with you, just in case they do decide to scope the place.
Chad will kind of sit up and like lift up his mattress to show that there are too many guns to take in his car. I mean, I can take some of them, but I don't think we can fit all of them in your car, man.
Do you have like an arsenal of 3? Like, what do you have?
Yeah, I do.
Oh. Okay.
2. Sorry, I have arsenal 2.
Okay. Yeah, and I have an arsenal of 2 as well. They're all in my car. So, well, we do need to relocate these somewhere safer.
Listen, man, like I don't want to put you out. I'm not asking for anything, but like I don't really have a place of my own to be. I mean, this is all I have, literally.
We can stash it in my in-laws' house. They'll be out of town shortly. We'll stick it there.
Sure. Sounds good. They're okay with us just coming in and out whenever we need to pick up some firearms?
Well, they won't be there to find
it. Okay. And he'll kind of take one of the blankets off the bed that he's not using and put it on the floor and bundle up all the guns.
Okay. Yeah, what time is it at this point after all the investigating and whatnot?
Yeah, you guys definitely spent a good about, probably 2 hours. You had your conversation. Brother, you were going through pretty thoroughly the books to make sure you found the best information. That was when you were sure you found the right information out of that one book with all the information on infernals and demons. So you guys would be just a little shy of when Father, Lily, and Sean are wrapping up.
Okay, and I'll make sure to include the text message of if there's like a specific demon name that I saw in the book, as well as what we may be dealing with, as well as the phase, the seven houses, cherubs, like, scattered text, like bullet points, but not like a paragraph or an essay. And then if it's close to that time, I'd be like, oh shit, I gotta pick up my girl from school.
I know you have a daughter, right? I know that you're not talking about a girlfriend you got to pick up from school.
No, I mentioned that, like with you and Giorgio, the moral compass thing, that my daughter was my moral compass. Without her, I would turn into one of those monsters.
That's right. Sure, man. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, just, don't say anything weird.
Like the fact that we have 20 guns in the trunk. Yeah, I won't mention that.
Yeah.
All right, it's about close to 2:00. She won't get out of school for about another hour, but yeah, if you just wanted to head that way and just be able to catch her before she gets on her bus.
Yeah, I'll just wait in front of the school and make sure that no one tries to pick her up, kind of thing, like Suzanne or anyone.
All right. And back with Father Lily and Sean. So you were heading out of the hospital area.
Yep. I think we were going to look into Dr. Keller.
Right, so you start driving back into Dover. Again, it's not too far, but a little bit of a drive. As you're driving, Sean, you'll get the text message from Brother.
I'll wait until a suitable, stoplight or something. I was about to say, I'll hand the phone over to Father and be like, hey, can you read the text message?
Well, you have discern up, don't you?
Only for 20 minutes.
Oh,
I didn't roll very high.
So when I get to a suitable stopping point, I'll stop and check the text message.
Yeah, and as I said, it just says, the demon name, what we might be dealing with, the phase, the fact that Suzanne was in a motorcycle accident, so she's either dead and possessed, or she made a deal with the devil to live longer. And then the 7 houses, cherub stuff.
Sweet. Which I'll read aloud to Father Lily. Any of this is Brother sent this. Does this make sense to you?
It sounds like standard demon goings about, really. Preying on the weak, trying to get people at their weakest point, I may not perfectly agree with the wording of the Bible, but the gist of it is generally there.
Makes sense.
I'm further worried about our current position. Is it just me, or do you feel like we're getting a bit of a runaround here?
I'm trying to think about how far is simple paranoia and the other side is just folks being small-time folks. I mean, nothing seems too outrageous yet, but yeah, I am getting a bit of I'm slightly getting annoyed at being jerked around.
Yeah, from one office to another, and then back to another place, and now some private practice, which... Again, I'm not sure the laws of it, but that seems exceedingly odd. Almost reminds me of those Scientologists. Not allowed to see normal doctors, it's got to be their doctor.
I mean, what would you like from us? We could walk in and start cracking legs.
I feel like there's a commandment against that somewhere, Sean.
We're not murdering, and you're assuming you're doing unto others as you wish to be done to you. If you were withholding information about a demon, I'm assuming you would wish others would come around and crack your legs until some sense was snapped into you.
Well, that is why priests often were armed with maces. Can't draw blood, but crushing people was never out of God's command. So there is precedent, but I feel like maybe we should ask questions first. Not that, honestly, I believe this man is going to be willing to cooperate with us in any sense. In fact, I'm worried talking to him is going to set up flags.
However, do we want to fake a medical visit? I mean, there's only so many options at this point, and we can't keep chasing these ends one after another. I feel like we have to approach this head on and get something out of him. It's obvious that out of the situation, there's at least one thing I'm certain with, is that he's involved one way, shape, or form. And if there's a time to put the foot down, it's with Keller.
Well, we don't have to exactly speak to him. I can just get a look at him and at least know if he's involved with the demon in some shape. But for further information, yeah, we'd have to talk to him.
I mean, it's going to come to us talking to him one way or another, so...
Okay, let's head there. Perhaps best to let brother know where we're headed in case we take too long to come back.
I'll reply to pull over and reply to brother at some point. Let him know the location of the office we're heading to and what our plans are.
All right, I'd just say, Roger, probably. Roger that. I got stuff to take care of. Me and Chad will rendezvous back at the diner and I'll say like 5 o'clock. We'll say 5 o'clock at the diner.
Because it's like 2 o'clock now, so yeah, that should be fine.
Alright, let's take a little bit of a break in the game. We'll do what we often do, is sort of an unofficial, informal AMA. Anybody in the chat who wants to ask our players questions about themselves or questions about their player characters, what they're thinking, what they're doing, what they're planning, go ahead and post those questions in chat and they will answer them. We're going to take a little break to run to the bathroom, get some water, you know, the usual.
Woo! I'm doing all right, CS. My brain is made of bread pudding at the moment, so.
Doing pretty good. Had a good weekend and excited. So we'll see what happens tonight. Misventures. So the difference between Hunter the Reckoning and Hunter the Vigil is pretty solid. So in Hunter the Reckoning, there are these things called the messengers that have awoken specific individuals and given them specific powers to fight the supernatural. They seem tailor-made to help humans even the odds against a supernatural creature and take them out. Where in Hunter the Vigil, you are I'm not sure which system you're more familiar with, but Hunter the Vigil, you're more just a normal human that decides to join an organization depending on various sizes and is given typically tools and to fight the supernatural. So it's one is you're literally just a normal human, and in Hunter the Reckoning, you're literally given powers from these things called the messengers, which aka are angels, but yeah. And Articus, you can go get fucked. That's all I'm gonna say. I love you, man.
I like when they were talking about demons that show up when, like, you know, there's a middle of an accident and offer something in exchange. And I was just like, God damn it, Victor, if you showed up here.
Hope we're not fighting Victor. That would go bad for us all.
I mean, we could probably take him in a physical fight.
Yes, as Out of Order Show puts it, in Hunter the Reckoning, you play what are called imbued. My imbued is special because I'm playing them. That's what makes them special. It's the special sauce that goes into my character.
Nothing else.
Modi's secret sauce. So you guys are going to like a private practice coroner?
What has been described as that, but obviously Father is like, what? No, that's not a thing.
He was a surgeon who worked at the hospital in the bigger city, is a private practice, semi-retired now in Dover.
But as a private physician, he did an autopsy on a criminal case. They don't know how these children died. So at that point, the police have to investigate how they died, and yet a private doctor's doing it?
Hey man, maybe it's like Sherlock. He's like really good at his job.
Ms. Venture asked, would I ever think of playing a Promethean the created game? I might. I'm a World of Darkness fan. It's a system I know the best, and so we definitely have other games in our queue. We are hoping to eventually do Changeling, probably Changeling the Lost, as well as eventually get to a werewolf game. Promethean would probably be a little later down in the queue, but it's definitely not out of the question. I would like really to explore all of the games I haven't played.
And we're always adding different games and trying to check out what people enjoy. So we're working on some D&D. I'm working on some Shadowrun. Just kind of like do the whole gambit of role-playing stuff.
Call of Cthulhu.
Oh yeah, Call of Cthulhu as well. That was super fun.
Yeah, I did my first, I ran Call of Cthulhu for the first time, and actually it was even my first time doing anything with it. I hadn't played it before either, and I did a one-shot of that. It was really fun, so probably do more of that in the future.
Oh yeah, it's so much fun, because that's like the one tabletop where like, it's okay if I kill a player character. It's fine.
Pretty much. I was a tiny bit lenient, but also like I had even more big baddies like waiting for them down the halls, and they got like scared off by these bugs, and it was like great.
That is the one flaw with Call of Cthulhu, is if your player characters are like, nope, I'm out. It's like, okay, well the adventure's over now.
I was very fortunate they decided to be good sports and kept moving forward into the cavern. Like, oh, this game is going to be up if you go back.
Well, there was this psychotic professor constantly just going, nope, I gotta run!
Yeah, that's why Expressive the Orient is so good, because they're trapped on a train. Like, you can't escape from it, you know? Unless you, like, jump off the train.
I saw a few of the supplements looked really, really good, so I'm excited to check more of those out.
I was about to say, Char looked really different there.
Just for a second.
I think chocolate bear.
I think that would make a great YouTube video, though. Do like a 5-minute Call of Cthulhu game where everyone's like, "Nope, fuck this shit, I'm out." Then it's just like end. They walk in, they hear like an otherworld eerie screaming, and they all just leave and go. I'm never going back there. I'm changing professions. I'm gonna become a dental hygienist. My father was right. I'm done.
End it with the Looney Tunes wrap up music.
I was gonna become a preschool teacher. Fuck it.
And then at the end, we'll have Elvis draw just like a sad Cthulhu, just like, oh, I didn't get to scare anybody.
There's another system that I really want to try out, but it's in French. Well, they're translating it from French. It's called Shadows of Estrin. It's like D&D mixed with Call of Cthulhu. Seems really
interesting.
Yeah, has a really cool lore behind it. I was reading it. I'm excited, but they take like 3 years to make one book. It's so disheartening.
Yeah, translations are difficult for like role-playing systems because you have to get the technicalities correct.
I understand that, but 3 years? It's like George R.R. Martin style, man.
Maybe they are typing it on an old IBM ThinkPad or IBM something.
I love everyone jokes about, like, he's actually lost the books, like, a couple times, so that's why it takes so long, so he just has to start over.
Failed to load from RAM.
From what I've read of like interviews, the reason why this is what he says, the reason why it takes so long is because he only writes when he's at home. So he like when he's doing like interviews and movie scripts and all that stuff, it interrupts his writing, and that's why it takes so long. And I'm like, bullshit.
Then don't
Everybody
leave your
stop
damn
interviewing
house.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, say no to interviews. Just write your damn book, dude.
I have a feeling I'm gonna go with the theory that like he's already hit his peak, and now he's like, nothing I can write can make up to this, so he's just gonna try to ride this out and not have to have like a Matrix 2 or 3 situation happen.
Oh, I'd be panicked to death, like, in his shoes.
I think we should just go misery on his ass.
That's what happened with the Wheel of Time series. Like the original author died, and then his son took over, and they're like absolute garbage. But yeah, apparently he has the whole like storyboard all figured out. It's just he hasn't written it. And I haven't even watched the new Game of Thrones series because I don't want to spoil the books.
Aren't they pretty like different though?
This season has nothing to do with the books. They ran out of books, so.
Yeah, they're completely off book. They're writing their own versions of Game of Thrones, which is interesting.
But again, those directors were given the storyboard of like, okay, this is how it's gonna end. These are what's gonna happen to these characters. So they're making their own iterations of it, but I don't want to know what happens to the characters. I just want to read the books.
You don't want to who's still living at the end of the day.
Yeah. All right, everybody is back, so let's get back to the game. All right, so last off, we had Father Lily and Sean. We're heading back towards Dover, and they just got Brother's text. Brother is heading over to his daughter Alyssa's school to wait for her and make sure no one else tries to snatch her up or she doesn't go running off with some friends after class. So, sitting in the parking lot nearby, you can see the school, and it's gonna be a little close to an hour before they get out, so we can downtime that unless you two had anything more you wanted to discuss.
Who's that question directed to?
Brother and Chad, you guys are just in Brother's car.
Nope. I think I'm just sitting in your daughter's old enough to sit in like the front seat, right? I don't know when.
Yeah, she's like 12 or 13, whatever middle school.
Then yeah, I'll just sit in the back.
Alright, so about an hour later, you start to see some of the kids filtering out of the front doors of the school. A lot of them, you know, buses are starting to pull up, and there's even one or two cars, parents picking their kids up directly. And you see a lot of them, you know, in their cliques, you know, hanging out, talking to their friends. Some of them wander off into a nearby building, probably going to after-school activities. And Brother, are you gonna just stay in your car, or are you gonna try and get out and go find her?
No, I would stand out in front of my car.
Alright. After a little while, some more filtering, Alyssa comes out, and since you stand out, being 7-something and however many 100 pounds, she spots you right away, and you see her say a word or two to her friends, but then she goes kind of quick jogging over to where you're standing and gives you a big hug around your middle.
Okay, because I'm a paranoid, supernatural hunting parent, I will discern like the crowd of people coming out, like the adults specifically, as well as any teachers, or if I recognize anyone.
All right, go ahead and give me that roll.
$10 minutes.
Alright, that's good enough. As you see the crowd moving around, with Discern, you don't really see anything that stands out too much. You do see, one boy that, has, like, a strange flicker for a second, but it passes. Could have been anything, maybe, you know, passed through his life, but otherwise the crowd looks pretty clean.
Wait, there's a boy? A kid?
Yeah, in the crowd.
I'm gonna try to focus on him. Can I do
Right.
discern again, or how does that work?
If it's 10 minutes, like, you would have seen him, and if you're just focusing on him, just give me perception... Just alertness to get a better look at him.
No.
Alright, he seems to disappear into the crowd, and you kind of lose track of where he was. You only saw kind of the top of his head and color of his hair.
Yeah, and then okay. So once I lose him, and then my daughter comes and hugs me, I'll lose focus and just scruff her hair up and say, "Yeah, get in. Let's get some yogurt real quick." And my friend's in the back seat, so he's a scary guy, but let's just scare him back.
Yeah, sure, Dad. She'll get in the front seat, and she'll buckle herself in first, but then turn around looking at Chad and smile. Hi, I'm Melissa.
Oh, Melissa?
Alyssa.
Alyssa, yeah. Hey, Alyssa.
She'll reach out a hand to you.
He will lightly shake it.
I'll get in the car and give like a short glance to Chad, like on your best behavior now. And,
Chad will glance out the window away from you.
Yeah, and I'll ask her, like, so where's the nearest frozen yogurt place around here?
Oh yeah, there's a place up, and she'll give you the directions. It's not too far from the school. It's actually like practically walking distance. And she mentions, her and her friends sometimes skip out during lunch to go grab a bite.
Whoa, she skips out of school? Oh man, brother's gotta be the harsh parent now. Chad, cover your earmuffs, Chad. Nah, I'm just kidding. All right, and I'll kind of take note of it, but I'll be I haven't been there for years. I can't discipline her, so I'll just be like, all right, honey, but you really shouldn't skip school.
I don't skip school. We just go out during lunch.
Okay. And I'll drive and I'll make small talk, like ask how her day was, what her favorite
so as
subject
you're driving,
is.
she'll kind of rant about, because she hasn't seen you in forever, talked to you at all, so she's kind of talking a mile a minute about how school is going and the girls she doesn't like and how the class president is trying to do this and that and just kind of running her mouth pretty fast.
I'll just like look at the rear view mirror at Chad. He's just like shaking back and forth. Send me back to the asylum.
Sorry, I just missed that. Say it again.
I was just making a joke. I said
Alright.
Chad was like, send me back to the asylum already.
I mean, Chad's not too far off of the high school years, so he understands it.
Yeah, and I was just kidding. But I'll, nod with, uh-huh. Oh, and then what happened? Oh, okay.
Yeah, she realizes after a little while how fast she's been talking and ranting and kind of calms herself down a bit. Anyway, and she'll glance a little bit at Chad and back to you. So, and you're there already at the ice cream place, so she'll, be getting out of the car. So, how long did you say you were going to be around?
Couple days, maybe a week, at longest.
Okay, yeah, great. And she'll just kind of head, leading you to go get some ice cream.
Yeah, and I'll have quite the solemn look on my face, not hiding it or anything. Like if she were to look at my face, I'd perk up a smile. But yeah, I'll just go inside the froyo and.
So the afternoon continues a little while longer, where Alyssa seems just overjoyed to see her dad, and she does even try to engage Chad a bit, ask him, so how did you and my dad get to know each other? You guys work together or something?
I'm your dad's assistant, is the best way of putting it.
He's a student, honey.
Oh, yeah, like a TA, right?
Yeah, yep. Like a TA.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So your brother, what was your specialty again?
I was a professor at UC Berkeley, biology, like
Biology.
science.
Yeah. So to Chad, so you're studying biology as well?
Ball. Chad would get a little bit of like a panic look at his face of biology and how bad that class was for him in school. Uh, yep, I love it. Biology, man.
All right.
I'll try to avert the conversation, like, so what do you want, honey? What do you want, toppings, etc.
Oh yeah.
Distract her with Froyo.
So she goes and makes her order. Meanwhile, Father Lily and Sean, you are back into Dover and you are heading toward. You got the address for Dr. Keller's family medical practice. So when you arrive at that area, it's about 3 o'clock, and it does look like it's kind of closed up. Like
so what do we...
Yeah, so to describe it a little bit more is it's a small building. Looks like it might have been built specifically for the practice or was just a very, very small like rancher home previously. Parking lot is just a little like gravel square that would fit about maybe a max of like 6 cars. It's got a little like ramp up to the front door so that someone in a wheelchair could get up there. It looks like it's in perfect use. I didn't mean like it hasn't been used, but it looks like the lights are off on side.
My question is it just Dr. Karras's practice, or are there several doctors in this working out of this building?
No, it just says, like, the sign says, Dr. Henry Keller. With, like, 5 little things at the end.
Yeah.
MDS is just...
I'll park the car in the parking lot and still walk up to the front door. As we get closer, I assume we're going to see a sign that has hours on it.
Yeah, so the sign has Monday through Thursday is like a 9 to 5, and then Friday is 9 to 2.
What time is it?
3.
So we're just going to set fire to the building now. That's the only option available to us.
Manifest destiny, dude.
I will remind you that on the paperwork, it did also mention that he's associated with the funeral home in the town called Marigold Funeral Home.
Well, Sean, what is does it look like anyone's home?
His office closed an hour ago.
I know that no one that's not suspicious in any way, shape, or form, but it is not helping my feeling of being run around on this issue.
Well, we do have one last potential option. It could be that he closes early on Fridays because he does assist out at the funeral home.
More breadcrumbs. Would you like to go check out this funeral home then?
Not particularly, but it looks like our only option.
Yeah, I guess we do need to fill time until Brother gets a chance to talk to the mayor. So let's head over there, I suppose.
And if worse comes to worse, maybe the funeral director has some further information. I mean, they did prepare the bodies and whatnot, that there might be some more information we can get out of him, so...
Or, like you said, we can start breaking legs.
I mean, it's always an option.
Getting a little frustrated at the dead ends, to be honest.
So, yeah, we'll get back in the car and head over to the funeral home.
Alright, you pull up to Marigold Funeral Home, and there you see it's a very nice, well-kept building, as funeral homes tend to be. Whitewashed front with like some dark green paint along the trimmings, big beautiful sign. The shrubbery and plants outside seem to be perfectly upkept. There's a very nice, well-paved parking lot that goes along the side and toward the back. Columns out in the front. Just a very, very nice funeral home. It doesn't look like there's many cars in the parking lot now. Just you see two in the back. One looks very ritzy, and the other one looks a little more like just a basic sedan. And as you walk up to the front, though, all of the lights are on inside, and it looks like you can just head into the foyer.
Yeah, we'll do just that, and I'll lead the father inside.
So as you enter, there is a sort of reception style area, and there is a little like nice painted sign that says ring bell with a small bell nearby.
And I did discern up with 6 successes.
Alright, so you'll be good for at least an hour.
Yeah, so I'll wait just a moment, see if I can hear any commotion, and if nobody's around, I'll go ahead and ring the bell.
You do hear something from maybe like a couple rooms away, but it doesn't sound like they were coming towards you directly. So after you ring the bell, you hear a deep voice, just a moment, and down a flight of stairs that's off to the left, you hear some nice dress shoes clicking down these wooden stairs. A young man in probably his late 20s, early 30s comes down the stairs wearing a nice suit and tie. He's got short, trimmed, light brown hair, and he sees the two of you and brushes up with a bit of haste. Sorry to keep you waiting, and he puts out a hand for Sean to shake. Did you have an appointment? I don't remember anyone that I was supposed to meet with today.
No, I'm sorry. My name is Sean Malcolm, and this is my associate, Father Lily. We're actually here. We had a few questions that we were hoping to get answered. I'm sorry, what's your name?
Oh, of course. Jonathan Coyle. Jonathan's fine. My family owns the funeral home here. Are you looking for services?
Not exactly. Do you, it was my understanding that, Dr. Keller would, be here?
No. Dr. Keller is not here, but he does assist us with our, with preparation for bodies, when we have one needing in restoration.
Why might you need a surgeon to prepare bodies? That's not common at most funeral homes.
Not that we need him as a surgeon, he just assists. He knows how to take care of the bodies. Myself, of course, I learned from my father and mother. They're the only other ones that work for the company, but and he like puts up his hand and like kind of a flexing gestures. Arthritis, not so good anymore.
Is this guy lying?
You can go ahead and roll perception, empathy.
Three successes.
Guy seems on the up and up, just judging by facial expressions and everything like that. His eyes are looking toward Sean, at least directly in the eyes, but he's looking back toward you just in a empathetic response. It seems fine with what he's saying.
Isn't it a bit expensive to have a surgeon assist in mortuary duties? I mean, it just seems like he would want a lot of money for that.
Jonathan shrugs his shoulders and says, "No, Dr. Keller he's older, nearly retired. He basically just keeps up his practice because he enjoys the work. So he does what he can around town. He'll make old school house calls for sick children that, parents don't want to drag them out of bed. He's a good man.
Oh, that is kind. You definitely don't see that type of physician anymore in the modern world.
No, not so much. From around the corner, you heard some noise coming from like a back room a little ways away. You hear someone else coming toward the front room, and Sean, you recognize Alma Heathers, who you met before. She was the gardener you were directed to go and speak with, who seems to have had her own specialty in understanding the supernatural, whether she's a quote-unquote hunter or not. You see her coming through into the foyer holding a large potted plant, holding gardening, or she has gardening gloves on, and she just sees the three of you standing. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just heard voices. I thought it was just you and me, Jonathan.
I'm sorry, ma'am. You're not interrupting. We were be just a few moments. So he'll turn back to Jonathan. So I'm sorry to intrude like this, but I must have just made an assumption that he would be here. His practice closes strangely early on Fridays, and I had heard that he had dead service here, and I was wondering, and so I just assumed that he closed early to assist. If he's not here, do you know what Dr. Keller does Fridays after 2? If there's something specific he's closing his practice for?
So Alma, after seeing the three of you, takes the potted plant. She walks back into a room nearby, but you can see she's actually still sort of within earshot. She sets the plant down and seems to be just tending to it. Jonathan shakes his head and says, "No, I believe, as I mentioned, he's nearly retired. He just keeps the hours he does for the families in town. I believe on emergencies, he'll open up again, but I think he just takes off early on Fridays to enjoy the weekend. I don't know what he gets up to directly. We're not that close outside of work."
Oh, that makes sense.
I could give you his phone number if there was something important you needed to reach him for.
That would be much appreciated if you could do something like that.
Yes, of course. Just give me a moment. I don't have it memorized. I'll need to go get a card of his from my office. And you'll see Jonathan head kind of the direction that Alma had come out of. And you hear him just open a small door and hear some rifling through desk in his office. Alma stands up, brushes her hands, trying to get some of the dirt directly in the pot, but not on the carpet, and turns her head slightly to see Sean and gives him a half smile.
I'll return the smile and give her a slight nod. Just trying to be friendly. She's a gardener in the area, and I stopped in several days ago to get acquainted with her to see if she had any information on anything.
Well, if you've met her before, perhaps we should have a word with her after we're done. The help does usually go unnoticed and often overhears things.
Yeah, absolutely. And he'll, while they're both kind of distracted, he'll lean in close to the father. Do either of them look off to you?
I did get a good look at the old lady. Does she look touched in any way?
Not in the way like you've seen from the sergeant and everything with Suzanne, not in a negative way, but something seems a little. You almost see like a bit of an aura. Not that Discern normally gives you auras, but you see something like pleasant about this old woman.
but she's still breathing, you know,
Yes.
warm.
Mm-hmm.
She's not going to suck our blood.
No.
They both look perfectly normal, honestly. Uh, I'm beginning to doubt if maybe we are on a witch hunt for something that may not be there. If this doctor is, as everyone has been speaking so highly of him. The only question then is it perhaps just simple misguided judgment, or he thought it'd be too gruesome to add the details to the report, or just was tired?
Or antiquated.
There's a question there. Um, how far we're willing to push that is going to be interesting. Perhaps if we could find out if this is the doctor that worked on her the night after the accident, and if he continues to be her general practitioner. I'm not sure how we'd find that information, though.
We could be blunt with the doctor.
We can't seem to find this doctor, to be honest. But we could see if we could set up a meeting with him.
I mean, there's always the white pages.
Well, I believe our friend is getting us his phone number.
During your discussion, you see Alma walk away toward a nearby closet. She opens the door, and you see her get a couple more gardening tools out. And she passes by the two of you with a... Though she's not even very near you, she still says, "Excuse me," and walks out the front doors. And a moment later, Jonathan returns with a card in hand and another little slip of paper folded over and hands it over to Sean. Card has his practice number. I believe you already have that, but that'll give you a card to keep on you. And the paper has his phone number. I believe he has a cell phone. I don't have that, but this should be his home number. Just please let him know that I gave it to you, so he doesn't think that people are just rifling around and getting his number.
Absolutely. And I appreciate the assistance you've given us. We'll let you know if there's anything else we need, but guess we'll give him a phone call and continue from there.
Of course. And if there is anything else I can do, please let me know. If you ever have any need of our services, God forbid, but if you do, please come back.
Absolutely. We'll keep you guys in mind.
Thank you very much. God bless.
Alright, and if you leave the building, you'll just see Alma down by a corner of the flower bed that follows along the driveway, fixing up, pulling out some weeds and, repotting some flowers.
As we leave, as we walk by her, I'll just stop and, how are you doing today?
She looks up with a genuinely sunny smile, still handling the dirt, and looks like she doesn't even really have to look at what she's doing to know where to place the plants and where to pull the weeds, and says, "I'm alright, and how about yourself, Sean?"
I've been better, but I can't complain about my own health, so there's always that.
Who's your friend here?
This is Father Peter Lilly. Lily, this is Alma.
I'm going to hold my hand out. Nice to meet you, Alma.
Yeah, she was down on her knees into the garden, but she'll get up a bit slowly and with her elbow take the one gardening glove off and shake your hand. "It's a pleasure to meet you, Father." She's going to turn her head slightly back to Sean and say, "You hear anything more about those storms you're worried about?"
Unfortunately, it seems to be pretty much hitting dead ends, but I haven't quit yet.
Are we to be expecting bad weather, Sean?
I would assume yes.
I was just curious. I know we just met and all, but we were looking into the two young boys that were found dead, and we believe they were serviced here and taken care of. And I, not to accuse you of anything, but it's often the case that people working in and around the area tend to hear things and know some things. And unfortunately, we haven't had much luck finding out any information.
Keynote, it is a boy and a girl, but, so...
Sorry, boy, girl.
The two children that passed not too long ago, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
I believe they were taken care of outside of the town. They were returned for cremation, burial.
Would you have happened to know if anything was weird about the cadavers before cremation?
Oh, no, I'm afraid not. I'm just the gardener, she says, and she sort of waves her one glove that she had taken off and puts it back on. But we don't have many deaths around here that aren't folks that are, for lack of a better term, it's their time anyway. So that was strange on its own.
Oh, absolutely. I know. Just never underestimate how much people hear in passing, especially in a place like this. I'm sure there's not many employees, so.
No, it is mostly Jonathan. His parents still own the funeral home. They come by when they can. Few other employees, mainly valet, cleaning. Myself, I'm the gardener and hired contract, essentially. I just take a little bit to keep my own business running, that's all.
Makes sense. Do you know this doctor? Was it Kit? Damn it.
Keller.
Keller. Do you know this Dr. Keller? Have you heard of him?
Yes, Dr. Keller's a physician here in town. I believe, I think Jonathan was telling you he helps out here in the funeral home sometime. He came from outside of Dover. He's only lived here maybe 15 years, but seems like a good man. I don't know him too personally myself. I've just seen him around the funeral home.
Yes, everyone seems to have very good things to say about him. So I'm rather excited to meet him. But anyway, if I'm sorry for wasting your time. I was just figured we'd ask, just in case. Like Sean said, we've been hitting a lot of dead ends today. So
Not at all. I'm a old woman with plenty of time. I have nothing better to do than to meet nice young men and share a moment of time with them.
Well, I do, again, appreciate your time, but guess we'll be on our way then.
So Alma nods as you start to walk off. She slowly gets back down on her knees to work more in the garden, and as you two begin to walk off, she sort of yells out in a friendly tone, "Just a friendly tip, if you ever get into gardening, it's a great way to relax and unwind, but make sure you keep control of those weeds. They can really get out of control quickly."
Thanks. I'll keep that in mind.
And she'll give you a very friendly nod and get back to work.
as we're walking away, I'm going to look at Sean. Your friend is strange.
Yes. I think that accurately sums it up.
Alright, you guys, I imagine, return to your car. About this time would be the same for Brother and Chad having a little chat with Alyssa at the Froyo bar, and Father and Lily and Sean finishing up at the funeral home.
So what did you guys do? Go to a dead people place? We got Froyo! Yeah!
Yeah, so it'd be a little bit after 4. You guys were making plans to meet back up at the diner by 5. Brother, are you gonna bring Alyssa along, or are you gonna get her somewhere safe?
No, I was going to explain the situation to her. That she and her grandparents are going to be visiting some friends, get out of town for a bit, and yeah, I'll just say, so Alyssa, honey, I know we need to talk, and Chad here, he's also one of my colleagues about what happened last night. He's also investigating the happenings.
Right, the werewolf stuff or whatever.
Right, the werewolf stuff. So, you and grandparents are gonna get out of town for a bit, take a nice vacation. You won't be in school. So, there's that.
Wait, did you talk to Grandma and Grandpa?
Yeah, I had a chat with them this morning.
And they agreed to that?
They find it would be best to keep you safe and to keep them safe. It allows me to do my job a little more efficiently without having to worry about your safety.
Alyssa shrugs. I guess I'm just surprised. But okay, and yeah, I guess if I get out of school early, that's cool. And she's gonna, get up quickly, like just kind of like a bit of a haste in her step, and she's gonna throw out her, cup and come back to you, and wipe up the table, and can we talk outside?
I'll look to Chad and give him kind of like a nod, and if he wants to get more froyo, just put it on the tab. I'll pay it for it later. And
Chad will get more froyo.
Is he getting rum raisin?
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you have rum flavored froyo? Or?
He has his own whiskey, guys. He doesn't need their flavor to be also alcoholic.
Yeah, let's go talk outside, honey.
So Alyssa, just walks with her own pace back towards your car and sits on the front hood, waiting for you to, get near enough.
Yeah, I'll bend my knees to get to her eye level. I'll say, what's up?
Look, Dad, I'll trust you in whatever you say, but I still don't get where you're coming up with this fairy tale stuff.
Honey, I wish I could tell you so many things, but I think it would be best be saved when you're older and more mature to know what exactly the world has in store for you. I want you to be a kid. I want you to go out with your friends, skip classes. I want you to get in trouble like like a normal teenager. When you mature and when you're ready, I'll find you again and tell you everything, I promise.
She kind of bows her head a little bit. So, how long is it going to be this time, then?
I'll definitely have a pained look on my face. And, I'll say just a couple more years, honey. I need to know what happened to your mother. I need to know who is responsible. And once I figure that out, we'll go back home to California. We'll pay her a visit, and we'll live a normal life. Just you and I.
She nods, not looking at you as you explain this, but then does look up and meets your eyes and jumps into giving you another big hug around your shoulders, especially since you're bent down a bit more now. And she hugs you pretty tight and says, "All right, I get that you, whatever this is, I don't know, give me an email or something now and then?"
Yeah, I hear AOL Instant Messenger still a thing, right?
Sure. Catch me there.
No, I was asking that. Yeah, I was asking her that.
Yeah, just, And like she'll like pull out like a pen and a piece of paper, like right. So this is my email. Just any service you use it'll get to me.
All right, honey. Also, I love you, and believe it or not, you're the everything. I'm doing this for you, whether you believe me or not. And give your grandparents hell. Don't make it easy for them.
If you say so.
I'll give her just with one arm, just hold her close, give her a tight hug, and I'll say, "So you wanna leave him in there, or should we go get him?"
Don't leave your friend in there. And she'll give him a little punch in the shoulder and start walking back without him.
Okay, yeah.
Alright, so you all gather back into the Brothermobile, and I imagine you would drop her back off with the grandparents right into the diner?
Yeah, I would walk out the car and walk her to the front door and, give the grandfather, Mark, a stern look and a nod, tonight. You gotta leave by tonight.
Mark gives you a very stern but understanding nod and says, make sure she's safe.
And I'll write down the phone number. Give me a call if anything happens. I'll
Right,
drop whatever I'm doing and go there immediately.
of course. And without being too rude, he'll otherwise kind of close the door. Bye.
Yeah, and I'll definitely wait until the door is fully closed just to, get a final glimpse at my daughter I haven't seen in years and turn to the car. Very solemn, pain looked in his face as I'm just, the inner turmoil of abandoning the thing that you love and serving your obligation kind of thing, and get in the car and kind of sit there for a while before driving off.
While you do so to the sound of Chad still eating an absurd amount of froyo.
Yeah, that's fine. I'd pull out a cigarette and just light it, roll down a window and start smoking.
Like a lot of froyo.
It's 5 cups near you.
He got the 4-cup thing that's for the whole family and just has each one filled.
Well, you need your savories, your peanut butter and your chocolates, and then you need your fruit, your tropical fruit. You can't mix those. That's gross, and you should die if you do that.
Damn. And you're calling us the monsters.
He makes a solid argument.
If you mix something like chocolate and peanut butter and mango tropical freeze, you're dead. You're dead.
Anyways, I would start the engine. I probably wouldn't say anything and start heading off to the diner to meet the other two.
Alright, yeah, so you guys would wind up at the diner around about the same time. Father, Layla, and Sean are together. Chad and brother are there, so you pull up and you see that it's a little busier than it even is sometimes around breakfast. It's, kind of a Friday dinner time rush. Some people want to have a night out with a couple friends, that sort of thing. So definitely a little busier than usual.
All right. Yeah, I'd meet up with them and wait till everyone's assembled and say, so how's the coroner? Does it tell you anything?
We accomplished absolutely nothing today.
It feels like a runaround, honestly. We just got dead end after dead end after dead end. All we know is this Dr. Kellogg seems to be either a red herring or very important, but he's connected in some small way. The only actual way I could think of it is maybe if we could link him to the demon, if he used to be the girl's physician or if he worked on her in the hospital, or I don't know. But we can't find him anywhere yet. He's half retired. Everyone speaks very highly of him, so nothing actually seems suspicious other than we are just being suspicious.
Do you do any research on the fella, Sean? maybe pull up some records, news stories, anything like that?
We haven't had a chance. We spend most of the day driving around and from place to place. We have his phone number, and digging into him further is what I was going to do tonight after we called it quits.
Are we still meeting with Suzanne?
Just need to set a time and time and date.
So the information that I did read, was there any like weaknesses like salt or anything like that? Because the Fey children had like weaknesses that we could exploit. Does this demon that I read about have any?
Throughout the book, there wasn't any much in the way of trinkets or materials like the information you got about the Fays of how to, like, you know, put them at bay or hurt them. A lot of the information you saw would relate back to keeping strong in your faith, using your faith against them, not falling for their tricks, and potentially symbolic items like crosses or holy water may work. There have been some cases it seemed to work, and other cases where someone who was believed to be possessed just laughed it off.
Okay. I think until we know what we're dealing with, we may want to avoid Suzanne for right now. But I'll leave that up to you. If you feel it's necessary to talk to her tonight, I'll stand by it.
I would like to have a better idea of what we're doing before I call that in. Hopefully, a couple days from now when we are prepared. Because obviously I'm not an 18-year-old boy that can show up randomly to this meeting. We have to be ready to go in all the way when...
How old does Chad look, like just appearance-wise? Because he said you're a couple years from high school.
Yeah,
Do you look like you could be 18?
Chad is like 20, so he's not even 21 if I remember.
Well, did you set up a picture for that profile?
Yes, and he's not, well, white.
The picture you sent's not white?
No. I'm saying Chad's not white. I hold out the picture with the Facebook profile on his phone, and it's just like some random generic white guy.
Got it. Okay. Well, I mean, we always have the net to kind of gather our thoughts and see what other hunters may think, or if they've dealt with the same kind. I do think we need to talk to the mayor to get the bigger picture. Maybe we can get some more clues on what may be possessing Suzanne.
I mean, we can still go along with meeting her. I mean, there is a place and a time, and maybe if she was stood up and someone came and talked to her, it would still work.
What do we do if we need her?
Need her? Is that what you just said?
Meet her. What would be the purpose of meeting her?
I actually have no idea. I thought we wanted to meet her though. Or do we just want to kidnap her? What are we doing?
We want to meet with her when we have an idea of what we're going to do, but at the moment we have no idea what we would do with her other than holy items, which I would be obliged, but I'd prefer having a plan B.
Well, if we do set up a time and place for a meeting and Chad does talk to her, we may be able to learn her methods, how she coerces these children to work with her. We may be able to find out the bigger picture of what she's also doing. As long as the place is public, I don't fear for his life.
Demons are clever. I don't. Perhaps I'm wrong, unless Chad can be extraordinarily convincing. But demons do not tend to have loose lips.
I think it'll be good for the boy to see what we're dealing with after certain circumstances. And I do have my faith in Chad. He's been an asset to me in what we've been doing.
No lack of faith. That is not my implied meaning. More, Chad, no offense, but you're soft. And the demon will know that and use that. There's no doubt in my mind. But perhaps that could be good for you.
I mean, if anything, if we see that it is a demon, she's just trying to take me over, wouldn't that give us a green light to just take her out right then and there?
She's a demon. We don't need a green light. It's, for the last time, that is not an issue. But if we meet her in a public place, I don't think that would go down well. And I don't think you're her profile. She seems to be targeting children. I don't know why. But specifically, young children.
Well, if
I'm not sure.
He can pose as a school friend. That's why we were meeting with her in the first place, to catch up. And she does seem to touch others other than children. The sheriff and the attendant at the Hobby Lobby. Seems, and possibly the coroner. Kellogg, I think you said his name is.
Mm-hmm.
Keller.
Possibly. We have no
it's Keller. He said Kellogg, though.
We have no confirmation on that one yet. But yeah, if we would like to do that, if you're willing, Chad, we could at least find their demeanor out. I only met her in an office for a short moment.
It might be beneficial to us to see, just how she works, how she is personality-wise. If she's cocky, we can use that. If she's, if she's methodical, we can also try to outplay her.
Whatever the plan is, just let me know. I'm just saying we had a plan. It kind of fell through. I'm just saying I'm here if we want to go along with it. I can make it happen.
Well, you're part of the group. Do you want to do this?
Yes.
Okay, let's make a meeting.
Yep. Try to make it as late as possible. I still do want to talk to that mayor. Or if it happens to overlap, I could talk to the mayor while you guys figure out what's going on with Suzanne. Make sure that she's not near her mother. I feel like the mere presence has an effect on the mayor's mind.
Yes. I don't believe the mayor is evil. At least not in explicit terms. I think she's trying to help. So I don't see the mayor being much of a problem other than trying to protect her daughter.
Yeah. So, Sean, you want to set up that meeting?
Sure, just so I have it clear. I'm going to set up a meeting between Chad and her. Not Chad. Jake and her. And stand her up, and Chad is going to happen to be in the area and drop his smooth moves on her.
Well, try to make it a social gathering, like a bar, nightclub, maybe even...
She's like 18, 17. I doubt a bar is an appropriate place.
Well, where do you kids like to hang out, Chad? I don't know.
Each other's houses, parks. I mean, it's that when you're in high school, there's not really a lot of places you can hang out. It's
maybe one of the college students around here having a house party. I mean, we can try to figure something out.
Frat parties, yeah. I mean, if you're if you're cool enough in high school to get invited into frat parties, then yeah, it's definitely a thing.
Yeah, I'm sure we could do some research online, or that would be Sean's expertise. Make you a fake driver's license or something, or school ID.
There are no colleges in Dover.
Not even like a community college?
No.
It's a very small. It's 30 miles from Dover. Is your nearest
Okay, well,
college.
like a high school party then, like I'm sure high school parties exist,
It's a
even
Friday
in
night.
Dover.
Camping parties are pretty big, especially by that area. A bunch of kids get down, sit around a campfire, steal a couple beers, drink those.
Yeah, whatever. It's like a tailgate party, campfire party, anything that we can, as long as it's a social public gathering. Chad looks to be the age, you could just say he graduated from that high school.
Yeah, a party at a campsite somewhere that other people know about would probably be best bet. Especially because there would be different ages there, so it wouldn't look weird. Even if someone was slightly older, slightly younger.
Hold on. How are we? What's going on? Are we setting up a whole group party, or is this just fictional to get her there?
No, we're going to find a party, a high school party. You're going to crash that party, and we're going to invite her there. Jake, the Facebook profile, is going to invite her to said party.
Okay. All right.
Wouldn't it make more sense just to be like, hey, do you want to get some frozen yogurt or go see a movie? That's what I.
We already got frozen yogurt.
Yes, that's where kids hang out. Frozen yogurts. Make that happen.
I'm just saying that's what I was expecting this to go, because then it makes perfect sense for a random other person to be there.
It's a little coincidental, but if you want to go that route too.
I mean, when you're in high school, going to food places is your kind of easy place to go and get away from your parents. So, I mean, it makes sense. We're still in summertime, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Early summer.
Yeah.
I'm still on the board for the parties, but whatever you guys want to do, I'll be talking to the mayor or try to talk to her.
So I'll send Susan a message of, hey, sorry about the other night. Are you free tonight?
Alright, so if you guys maybe continue chatting a little bit about some of your plans, about 2 or 3 minutes later, you'll get a reply through the Facebook profile saying, yeah, where did you want to meet?
So while I was waiting and while we're sitting here talking, I was spending my time trolling Facebook to see if I could find a party, just in case. Is there anything that I possibly find across of people doing something social?
Yeah, as you go scrolling through Facebooks, trying to go check out like the different high schoolers things, see if you can sneak through and find some anything that seems to be going on. You do hear that there is a nearby lake that some kids are planning on. Just a small gathering is like, as they keep phrasing it, like just small gathering, just a few of us.
Chad, it's your call. My vote is still on frozen yogurt or a fucking movie, but there's this party here that I can invite her out to. But that, like I said, my vote's still on movie or frozen yogurt.
Chad, party? Show me. What are they saying?
I'll hand him my phone and just show him the posts.
What's the Yelp review on this party?
What are, like, how many people are actually responding to this thing, Spira?
It would all be word of mouth in this kind of area. It would just be, hey, did you hear that there's a party down at the Nelson grounds?
Yeah, you might see 1 or 2 people responding, but it's probably then they're going to be texting each other saying, hey, head down there.
This is pretty south.
And
So
might I add real quick, if it is in the lake, it'd be very easy to surveillance what's going on, just to keep an eye out for Chad, make sure nothing weird happens, or God forbid Talon makes an appearance. We did just murder one of his kin.
If we think it's going to be an actual big party, then that works. If not, Froyo's the way to go. But I mean, if it's like 3 or 4 people or 5, it's too small.
I'm going with the Froyo because the party sounds ridiculous to me. So I'll just send her back a text. Would you like to meet for go get something to eat later? I don't know, Froyo or something.
After a couple minutes, you'll get back. LOL, sounds fine.
What time works? 11? Or how long late is the shop open, Chad? Before I make this comment,
How long is what?
what's that shop open for?
The shop? You mean
The
the
frozen
Froyo
yogurt
place?
you were at
Yeah.
earlier.
No, that place is gonna close at like 10.
All right, then I'll send her like 9 or something.
So you say about 9, she says, and she'll reply back after a little while. Yeah, that sounds good.
There you go, Chad. Frozen yogurt at 9.
Cool. I mean, we have to wait a little bit to make sure she knows that she's being stuck up, and then I can try and smooth. Yeah, we could.
Smooth talk a demon.
Yep. Yeah. You might see like a slight panicky look finally come over Chad's face.
I'll play, like, I don't know where like the seating order is, but I'll place like a hand on his shoulder and say, I believe in you. You can do this.
Yes. Yeah. Nope. I just now I know you guys. By looking at me, you might think I might be a little bit of a ladies' man, but I'm not.
I never once thought that about you.
Chad will kind of sideways glance at you. But it's fine. I'll watch some YouTube videos and we'll be good.
All right, so just to get a agenda of what we're all doing tonight, Chad's gonna be flirting with the devil, so to say. Sean, what are you gonna be doing? You're gonna be looking up that information, or you're gonna be helping Chad out?
Yeah, I mean, we have a few hours that I'm going to spend researching, but I think the more of us we have in the area, the better, because if she's as potentially dangerous as we think she is, then we should have absolutely all hands on deck.
All right, how about you, Father? Were you enough to?
I suppose I should get changed. A blind priest tends to draw attention, no matter how well you hide in the woods.
Wait, woods?
Oh, that's right. We're doing Froyo. Either way, a blind priest tends to draw attention, so I should really get something more appropriate on, so I can stay closer.
Are you? Does Suzanne know your face? Maybe. Do you wear like glasses, or are you just?
I wear a black bandana around my head, covering my eyes, and my priest outfit. But I probably wouldn't look very similar to myself in street clothes and some sunglasses.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna suggest. Okay.
I should
And,
probably also get some younger looking clothes and a shave.
All right, now I'll try to see if I can make contact with the mayor at the bar that I was told.
Alright, so brother is going to try and find the mayor at the bar. Father Lily, you're going to go get changed. Are you going to the stakeout at the Froyo place?
Yes, but after changing.
And Chad, you're doing similar? So
Uh,
Chad, you are going to be the bait, and Sean, you're going to do similar?
Yep, I'll be there as well.
Alright. Well, I think we're actually going to wrap it here because I don't want to get into what might be happening next and not have enough time to really play it all out. We'll see what happens. Could go fine. Could not. It's all up to you guys. But we will follow that up next week. A little bit of a quiet night for you hunters, but you made some good headway with more investigations and you're about ready to make the final plunge and go see Suzanne. So that is what we will follow up with next week. Yeah, so thank you everybody who came out and watched the game. As always, we have our New York by Night Tuesday night tomorrow, 9 p.m. EST. Come back out for that. Fridays, we have our Anarch game at 9:30 p.m. EST. If you check below on the Twitch page, we have schedule information and our Discord link. If you haven't joined our Discord, definitely go ahead and click that. See us there. We chat about World of Darkness, role-playing games in general, and just have a good time just goofing around. YouTube will have updated videos very soon over the next couple days. And just do a little shout out, Revolver C is an awesome variety streamer. Check him out. Koznark is also going to be getting back to streaming very soon. He'll be doing some horror stuff the coming weekend. Super Chocolate Bear, you doing anything coming up?
Hopefully fixing my computer so I can start streaming again.
Alright, but definitely give him a follow anyway because he will get back to streaming soon and he is also a great variety streamer of video games. Yeah, so that will wrap it up. Thank you everybody. Bye.
Good night.